Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
How to fix a leaky funnel. Now, I'm assuming if you're a coach, consultant, or internet explorer who happens to follow our podcast, your goal is to get more clients and customers and also generate revenue and grow your online business. And I'm assuming that's a goal that you've had ever since you started your business or your practice. And that's probably why you are tuned into this podcast, so that you find ways on how to actually do this consistently with less stress and struggle. But how do you achieve this? Okay, one of the things that I help my clients through is creating what we call a marketing funnel. This is basically a process and a system that you get your leads through in order to help them convert into happy customers that pay, stay, and refer. And all this is done through automation that is independent of you, the business owner, so that you are left to do work that matters for people who care. Now, my Internet Explorer, I'm assuming you listening to this part of the podcast right now, you have already created some sort of a marketing funnel that starts off with you offering something of value, and you're letting people engage with you automatically through permission-based marketing that you're delivering through emails. And I'm hoping you have something like that created. If not, you want to stop listening right now and figure out how you can create a marketing funnel within your business, or get in touch with me and we can figure out how to at least create just one simple funnel that gets people to maybe book a consultation with you or to actually start the journey with you, okay? And I know, by you listening to this podcast right now, what you need above all else is actionable digital marketing strategies that actually work and they're proven to get you results. And I know right now you definitely don't want to be cold calling potential clients and having them hang up in your face, or maybe send out hundreds of emails without getting as much as thank you for reaching out. And I know for sure, and I personally wouldn't want to be wasting thousands of ad spend without generating any qualified leads. And I'm here to tell you that if you build a marketing funnel, you will have, a sales conversion strategy that works without your own involvement. But it actually has to be built, all right? And that's what we do, especially with the online prosperity method, where we basically are hand-holding and, enabling our coaches, consultants, and especially internet explorers to build strategies, within their business so they can master their marketing. Because I firmly believe that they are out there changing the world, because every content that you're putting out there that is making somebody else's life better, we are doing our own version of changing the world one life at a time. And together, me and my clients and my team, I help you develop and implement unique marketing plans that actually convert, and connect with the audience that you're going to be delivering work to. Okay, so in this podcast, I'm just going to be looking at maybe 4 strategies you can, 4 steps, actually, not strategies, to actually find and then fix the holes that might be, in your marketing funnel right now, meaning that you are losing out on leads and you're not growing at an exponential rate. Because let me tell you something, sometimes it can actually feel like nobody wants to buy what you're selling, but it's because you haven't engaged them, you haven't educated them, and you haven't inspired them to want more, be more, and have more. And we only have a limited amount of time in the day. You can't be there for everybody else who's starting the journey with you. So that's the reason why a marketing funnel will definitely leverage your time, your expertise, and the knowledge that you disseminate to people, and they can connect with you whenever they're ready. And I want to tell you one thing, because once you have a funnel, okay, a funnel is basically you've got so many people coming through at the top, and they're now starting to discover whether you can solve their problem or not. And if you don't have that anxiety of not having converted them, because they might just jump out of that funnel by themselves. And that, my friend, is okay, because at the end of the day, you want to work with people that know you, like you, and trust you, and people that you can get results for. Some people are just wandering around the internet and hoping to find some sort of an answer. You just might not be that for them. Okay, so I can imagine and I can understand you've probably invested in a website, you've probably invested in content and all that stuff, you're probably showing up on social media. But if you don't have a funnel or back end, within your system, then you're not going to be able to actually convert those people and nurture them up until they actually purchase from them. All right. So I can imagine when you first build your marketing funnel, it can feel like you've actually taken a massive step towards growing your business, because this takes time and, putting all the pieces together, from the lead magnet to the emails that are working, to make sure that they are being, released at the right time, and they're not, confusing your audience more than they're already confused. I can imagine this is a massive undertaking, and if you have done it through Live Long Digital, you would know that we actually do most of the heavy lifting for you, just so that you don't give up. All right, but if you feel like you've taken a massive step towards growing your business, by just creating a marketing funnel, I'm here to tell you that you're probably not, thinking like a business owner, because getting started is obviously one of the hardest steps in the process. And many business owners actually skip creating a marketing funnel when they first launch their website, if they even get around to it. All right, I speak to a lot of coaches, consultants, and other small to medium businesses, and they just think having a whiz-bang website on there is enough, okay, to get somebody started on a journey with you. And boy, are they way far from the actual reality of what they need to be doing. And a lot of people skip the marketing funnel process altogether. And like I said, creating your marketing funnel and setting it up on your website is just one step of the process. So you need to make sure that you've got everything and all the tools, systems, and processes working in your favor in order for you to actually convert all those people that come to your website into happy clients that pay, stay, and refer. And we all know that that's where the money is at. So as much work as you've put into creating your funnel, you want to ensure that it is actually working and it actually is converting. All right. And once you've had your funnel up and running for a few months, because you can't really tell up until you've gotten people through the funnel and you start looking at where are the leaking parts. That's what we're talking about in this podcast today, all right? It's actually worth to check to see where the holes in your funnel are and taking action to fix them. Now you're working on your business, not necessarily in your business. Because if you actually understand what is bringing people to you and what is actually making it convert, then I can guarantee you can, leverage that and actually, amplify the amount of people that go through that funnel, because it is not a leaking funnel. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty of this, I want you to be cognizant and be aware that you are inevitably going to lose leads. Not everybody who's going to go through your funnel is going to end up on the other end as a customer, and you got to be fine with that, all right? You have to be fine with losing people. Aren't you glad you're listening to this podcast? Because then you now have newfound information and knowledge, and you no longer have a crisis of anticipation. Just because you've got 2,000 people on your list, that doesn't equate to 2,000 customers, okay? So stop going to order that Lamborghini, or, start viewing that house over the weekend before those people have actually converted into customers. So by you fixing your leaky funnel, you're increasing the amount of conversion so that you're not losing a lot of the people that you are warming up or actually nurturing, through that funnel. So like I said, before we dive in, I want you to be comfortable, and I want you to be, open to actually losing people and losing leads, okay? Because some people just are not suited to, the method that you're putting out there. They're not suited to your message, etc., etc. Okay, so before we dive into, fixing all these holes, it's important, like I keep saying, remember that you're inevitably going to lose these leads. And the point of your funnel is to get a large number of people to come into the top so you can filter out those that are not an ideal fit, okay? So your funnel is basically leveraging your time so that you're not doing all of this back and forth with these customers, which is taking up much of the time that you could actually be creating for and relating to your ideal customer. And ultimately, you're going to have a limited number of qualified leads that actually reach out and schedule a meeting. And like I said earlier on, if you don't have a funnel as yet, the basic funnel that you need to have is one that has a lead magnet where people can download something, a couple of emails, and in those emails, you're asking people to schedule a call with you, and then they can start their journey, with you. All right. So that's a basic funnel that you simply should have. And a couple of systems that you can use for that is basically your website and a calendar tool where people can choose a time in order for them to then come and speak to you. So the goal of fixing your funnel shouldn't be to convert every single person that enters it. Have you ever noticed that when we get inquiries or when we get leads, we automatically just chase them over and over and over again until either one of us is tired, really, because we think that everybody else that maybe knocks on our door or makes an inquiry automatically should be converted into a customer. No, that's not it. Some people are just inquiring to find out who does things cheaper, better, faster, and they might not be your kind of person. All right, so that's where a funnel actually helps separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. So not everyone is going to convert who enters your funnel. So instead, it should actually provide opportunities for qualified leads to stay in your funnel long enough so they can eventually convert. Because we all know that people do business with those they know, like, and trust. So you need to nurture these people, and people need to hear you. People need to see you. They need to read you. They need to experience you. And that's where the funnel comes in. In order for them to actually get to know, like, and trust you, you need to be constantly, reaching out to them some shape or form. All right. And as long as they've given you permission by them giving you their email address, you can nurture them up until maybe they leave. And that's where you now need to start noticing where are people leaving from and what's causing them to leave, just so that you don't have that many people jumping onto your funnel and then jumping out without having converted. All right. So at the end of the day, when you're giving people opportunities to convert and giving people opportunities to do business with you, it then gets them to know, like, and trust you. And now let's get into actually fixing those holes, in your funnel, just so that, you get more value, especially from this podcast alone. So I'm assuming you already have that funnel. You already have, the strategic pieces together, the landing pages and all that stuff. If not, just jump onto our website, livelongdigital.com.au. See how we have already formulated funnels, within our business. and our website, and then just maybe try and replicate those if you don't feel like talking to me. But I advise that because each and every one of our businesses is different, there might be different components that you might miss out on. Just reach out to me. I'll definitely point you in the right direction. Okay. So if you also jump onto our website, livelongdigital.com.au, you notice that I think we've got 6 different instances where you can actually leave your email address. So all of those are 6 different funnels. All right. I don't expect you to create that many on your own website. The reason we do that is because this is our work. All right. So we experiment with a lot of things, and each experiment ends up becoming a permanent resident within our website, and we just leave it there. But your first step really is to determine what funnel is actually creating the most traffic, what funnel is actually resonating with the target market that you're reaching out to there. Okay, so if you only have one lead magnet, or maybe one webinar, or one call to action, or one method of maybe generating new leads for your business, obviously don't worry about this step. But you need to focus on updating your funnel and perfecting it up until you getting the most conversions from it. So if you're getting 100 people flowing through, and maybe after 4 or 5 weeks you only get 1 customer out of that, you want to optimize the funnel so that you increase the conversion rate. So for every 100 people, if you're getting 1 customer, optimize it more, so that for every 100 people that come through your funnel, you turn 5 people to become customers, and then just keep perfecting it. You know what I mean? Rome was never built in one day. But however, if you've got multiple funnels like us that maybe generate leads for your business, I find it easiest to update one at a time, so that you're not confusing yourself. All right, because half of the time when we're creating marketing funnels, it's more of a scalpel precision job, because you're not demolishing the whole thing. You might just need to change one heading or one aspect of maybe the landing page or one of the emails. All right, so you want to be very particular. It's a white glove service. You're not going in there with a wrecking ball. You go in with a scalpel. All right, so one update at a time, just so that you can test and see if there's a change in what you have done, so you're not completely changing the look and feel of what your funnel was going on. So for you to decide on what to focus on, just take a look and see what is actually generating the most interest, or the most traffic, or which of the landing pages that you've got is actually converting the most. All right, so for example, if you've got maybe 2 free lead magnets available on your website, you look to see which one is frequently downloaded, and then you upload that funnel first. Simples. All right, you don't go in and try and wreck everything and try and demolish the whole process, because it takes a long time for you to create a funnel that actually converts out there. So while you're at it, the second step is now for you to look for those clear areas where your prospects are falling off. Okay, so where do people in your funnel stop engaging? Now, this question may be tough to answer, but let's look at it in this way. All right, so you might have blog posts, you might have videos and social media, and people are actually engaging with those pieces of content. And in those blog posts, you put links to your lead magnet, or in the videos, the call to action is for people to download that lead magnet, or in your social media, the call to action will be to download an ebook or to watch yet another video. And once people are from that lead magnet, you automatically, have an autoresponder that sends them a nurture sequence. All right. And this is done via emails, or you can use a podcast like this and then, get people to follow through, maybe, create a series, whichever way that your funnel is formulated. Okay. The tactic basically is to keep people engaged, obviously without you being there, present all the time to prod them or to nudge them to the next level. And then from that nature sequence, you need to have at least some sort of a way that people can book an initial call with you. All right. That is one thing that should be present in just about every funnel that you're creating out there. And if you have people scheduling a call with you, then the next stage is to actually conduct the sales part of the process, okay, and then convert them into a client. Eventually, from there, you could do this via video, or you could do it in person on Zoom. So naturally, this could be a flow of how a funnel should be. And if you haven't got any of these steps, like I keep referring you back to our website, just jump on to livelongdigital.com.au. Maybe you can follow what we have done, or you can just reach out and we can help you create these little steps in order for you to have a marketing funnel that actually nurtures your leads into clients that pay, stay, and refer. Okay, so natural spots for leads or prospects to actually fall out into your funnel happen every time you're narrowing the gap, or you're asking for yet another thing that you want your customer to do. All right. So initially, when people are reading the blog, there's no ask of them. They can just read, maybe it's their time or whatever information that that whatever it is that you're giving to them, all right? But then when you ask for an email address, you start seeing a few people drop down. And when you ask for people to schedule a date or time, that's commitment on their part, all right? And, you start seeing a very few people going through that process. And then when you ask people for the sale, when you actually make the sale with them, very few people will also then go ahead with that. So the beginning of the funnel, obviously, it's tipped to have as many people as possible because there's no commitment on their part. For each commitment that you start asking your prospects, you start losing a lot of people. So you want to minimize those losses as long as you know you're attracting the right kind of people. All right. So let me give you an example. So you may have hundreds of people who view your blog post, like I mentioned, but only 5 people sign up, for that corresponding lead magnet. And in my experience, the 2 biggest breaks, where business owners lose a lot of leads are maybe when you public content and content has to ask for an email address. Okay, if you put what's called a paywall, you lose a lot of traffic. All right, so yes, you might be getting a lot of traffic to your website, but not many conversions. So we want to see what is the resistance there. What are people resisting? So that means maybe the offer is not enticing enough, because people would rather give you their phone number or stuff like that, but they wouldn't give you their email address willy-nilly. All right, so it's things of that nature. All right, and the second thing that happens is also between when a prospect gives you their email in exchange for a lead magnet and having them convert by booking an introductory meeting, what are you feeding them in between for them to get to know, like, and trust you? Okay, so that also makes or breaks the engagement with the audience. All right, so let's just have a look at both of these breakpoints and review how you can actually patch these holes in your funnel, because you might just be losing people just because you haven't got a strong enough offer. What are you offering people in exchange to their email address? Because people are now bombarded with so many marketing messages right now that they become very reluctant to just give their email addresses willy-nilly. So that's the reason why, yes, you get a lot of traffic coming to your site, but very few conversions. What are you offering that is actually making people want to get more of that information? So I've done a few podcasts where I talk about content upgrades. Okay, so you write a blog post, but then you offer them a checklist or a video that actually explains and helps them to implement what you've written in the blog post. That might actually lower the resistance. You know why? Because you're actually helping your clients by actually helping them. So half of those things are what a lot of people are not doing, especially when we come to content upgrades. And if you are the person who's doing content upgrades there, guess what? You now can generate hundreds of qualified leads like clockwork. You know why? Because these people already are indoctrinated into what it is that you are doing. So check out episode number 7 of the Online Prosperity Experience in season 4, where we talk about how to turn leads into customers that pay, stay, and refer. Okay, that episode talks about content upgrades and how you can actually eliminate a lot of people falling off, while they are going through your funnel. And you should also understand that customers don't see funnels. You know what customers see? Customers see engagement, customers see education, customers see value. Okay, so your funnel should be able to do that behind the scenes without you being actively involved. All right, and once you do that, you, my friend, will create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Okay, and then step number 3 is you want to determine how to actually patch these holes within your funnels. Either you can do it yourself, or yet again you can engage a digital agency like Live Long Digital. Just jump onto our website and see what we offer in order for you to patch these holes, so that at least your marketing efforts are no longer just spraying and praying, or you're just feeding people who are not converting out there, right? So if you dig into 2 of these breaking points of the actual offer that you're giving people in your funnel, it can actually help you retain a lot more of those qualified leads that come through, and ultimately you can convert them into clients. You know why? Because you've already offered them value. And we all understand that we get paid in direct proportion to the value that we bring to the marketplace, all right? So in essence, just start from the top of your funnel, all right? Look at what you're offering for free, all right? And see if, it's actually valuable enough that people would want a content upgrade from that. Okay, so from your blogs or even a podcast like this, each podcast comes with a content upgrade of what we would have talked about, and you can always download that and start your journey with us. Okay, or if you're doing videos, what else are you giving people so that they continue the journey with you? Because at the top of your funnel, your primary goal is just to give high quality content, and you don't necessarily care who gets it, but you want to get their attention enough for them to want either that content upgrade or to actually get information. So your content should be educational and actionable, and it should also give your audience a taste of what your brand is all about. Okay, so your blog is basically that bait, that bribe that goes out. You want to you only get one opportunity to make a first impression, and this way, when they start moving down your funnel, they are transitioning from a cold lead to a warm lead who's already familiar with you, your company, and the services that you're providing. And one of the problems that we see as an agency with top of the funnel content is that it's not tailored enough to the business ideal client. All right, so you need to identify your target market so that when you're actually starting somebody's journey, you're not spraying and praying. You're actually talking to people that you want as your client. All right, although this may not feel or seem like a funnel hole, it can actually cause qualified leads to leave your website before they have a chance to effectively communicate with you, or to actually read your value proposition, because you are just all over the place. Okay, so here's a few ways that you can actually evaluate the relevance of the content that is at the top of your funnel. Number 1 is just review your blog's analytics. Okay, what topics are ranking above the others, and what are people actually looking to learn about? What are people asking you the most about? If you just use your blog as a means and way to actually answer the frequently asked questions, you would actually be getting the right kind of client with the right kind of pain, because nobody asks questions which are not causing problems for them. Okay, and once you started creating this content, the more focused it is to your ideal client, you can actually move to the next common of the fixes that you have, which is maybe a barrier to entry. Your offers need to be very enticing. You need to make it easy for people to do business with you, okay? And once you've got all of that stuff going on, find a way to connect with people immediately, all right? As soon as somebody gets into your funnel, that person is hot, okay? So if you've moved through creating a funnel and, really optimizing it, you want to make sure that you are not missing out, on conversions just because you're not responding to people immediately. Okay. You may need to add maybe a few additional steps in the process, but make sure that you reach out to people immediately. People do not want to be ignored. Okay. So depending on the information that you're gathering upfront in exchange for your lead magnet, you want to look at either calling the prospect or emailing them directly, asking them if they're interested in setting up a conversation with you immediately. Okay. And I usually recommend leaving this as a last resort. Since people aren't accustomed to having business owners give them the hard sell immediately after they've downloaded something for free, but you want to make sure that they know there's a person behind all this automation. All right. Although it takes time to fix a leaky marketing funnel, right? And it might all seem overwhelming because as an entrepreneur, marketing is just one aspect of running a successful business. You go from hiring and managing new staff and balancing books, and it all feels like a constant balancing act where you're pulled in multiple different directions all at once. And your real goal at the end of the day is just to help your clients. You want to spend as much time as possible changing people's lives and solving people's problems. The last thing you need is to waste countless hours tinkering with your funnels. All right. But if you have a funnel in place that runs seamlessly and converts cold leads into prospects, let me tell you something. You, my friend, will be able to scale your business efficiently, and you will have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And while, you're working with people that actually help you, do work that matters with people who care. Now, let me tell you something. As the founder of Live Long Digital, I've built strategies for coaches, consultants, and other internet explorers to master their marketing, because I firmly believe that, you are out there changing the world. Whatever, expertise you're putting out there, you're consulting, you're training, information, or paid speaking, you're doing that. You're changing the world one life at a time. And let me be the person that helps you, create more and be relevant to your target audience so that you can change, those people one life at a time. And together with my clients and my team, I want to help you develop and implement unique marketing plans that actually connect and convert. And one of them is fixing your leaky funnel. I hope you're going to listen back to this podcast, and actually, go through the steps that I've mentioned. But if you want somebody to do it for you, just jump onto our website, livelongdigital.com.au, and we can help you out with that. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au